Hello and welcome to Catamount Community Connection, your weekly public affairs program here at Catamount Radio, where we talk with community leaders from the business, professional, nonprofit, and political arenas. I'm Brian Collamore, your host, and the show is brought to you by the Rutland County Agricultural Society, which has brought you the Vermont State Fair at Rutland since 1846. And we're already, even though we're heading into the fall, but we're looking forward to the 180th Vermont State Fair at Rutland next August, and that will coincide with the 250th birthday of the United States of America. So kind of a double treat there. And we are very happy today to have on the show Lyle Jepson and Chrispin White from the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland region. And, of course, you all know by now, Lyle is the Chief Executive Officer, if you will, and Crispin's in charge of a whole bunch of stuff like events and also membership. And so we're going to be able to talk to these folks for about 55 minutes today. And next on their calendar, this coming Tuesday, will be the annual meeting. And I believe it's the first time it's been sort of out of the downtown area. I could be wrong, but anyway, guys, welcome in, and let's talk about the annual meeting, where it is, what time, what we can expect.
All righty. The annual meeting this year will be at the K1 Lodge in Killington, and we're excited to have it at that location this year. It's going to be a Tuesday, October 28th, and it will run from 5 until 7. And before I get into the agenda, I do want to thank our sponsors, because without them, this would not be possible. So our sponsors for this year's event is their Casella Waste Systems, Cape Air, GE Aerospace, M&T Bank, Heritage Family Credit Union, Killington Resort. We have OMIA, Rutland Regional Medical Center, the Better Business Bureau, Velco, and East Rise Credit Union.
Man, somebody did a lot of work.
Well, yes, exactly.
I assume that was you.
For the most part, but this is a great community event, so it's really nice to have this community support behind us. So for the agenda for that evening, as I said, the main program will run from 5 until 7, but at 4:45, we have Extra Stout, Vermont's premier Irish band, starting with some music. And then from 5 until 6 is our normal networking and mingling with food and beverage. And then around 6 o'clock, we start the official annual meeting. And we'll have that with some nice information about what we've done over the last year or so. But one of the features of that portion will be our annual awards, which are Business Leader of the Year, Community Leader of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, and Innovator of the Year. And I want to pass it over to Lyle to talk a little bit about those awards.
Okay.
Great. Well, those awards from last year, of course, we're not going to tell you who they are this year.
Well, no.
You have to show up to find out who this year's award winners are. But right before, as Crispin says, right before a showcase of a business pitch competition, we will have the awards. And last year, our Business Leader of the Year was the team from Awesome Graphics, led by Tammy Napolitano.
Yeah.
They do amazing work out there, and what is really nice about their work is they will come in, and whether it is window displays or signage, they make sure everything fits with the decor of the building, the rooms that they're going to be in. They want to make sure it works for the customer, and they come in at a quality price that everyone can afford, and they get things done in a timely way. We also had our Community Leader of the Year, and it really didn't surprise anyone that Steve Costello's name was right up there at the top of that list. If you walk around downtown Rutland, you pretty much can't go on any major street without seeing the work that Steve has helped support in the region. Specifically, the trail, the marble sculpture trail, he worked on and continues to work on, and there's going to be another unveiling in the Center Street Marketplace this week. So stay tuned for that. And I'm going to look on my phone as I continue to talk about Steve here, because I think that unveiling is actually going to be on Wednesday of this week, but let me just double check. But we'll get back to that. At any rate, Steve also was very active in our regional marketing initiative and starting that. It's now in its 8th year, and we're finding great benefit to that, where people are moving from outside the state to Vermont, recognizing that we do have quality jobs, and of course, we've got a great place to live here. Steve was also is a major contributor and started, we call him the founding father of the Whoopie Pie Festival. So he has a passion for whoopie pies. I bet if you go to his freezer at home at any one moment, there'll be 20 or 25 whoopie pies waiting for people to come to his house. So he helped get that project going. Very appreciative of everything that he has done.
He's also been very instrumental in the blood drawing every year.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah. You know, one thing about Steve, if you know Steve, he's a record breaker, and he just wants to go out there and make things bigger and better for the Rutland region, specifically Rutland City, so we thank him for that. Going back to the gift of life that you just talked about, that was 2,337 pints of blood back a few years ago. It crushed the previous record of 1,968 pints, and that happened in our small community, which is very cool. We also had, back to the award winners, we have dedicated volunteers that make things work at the Chamber and Economic Development. 2 of them have been with us for a long time, and they're very young, but they've been with us for a long time. Leona Menard and Karen Worcester both are always at our events and activities, and they support everything we do, and we appreciate their work. And the last award was honoring our Innovator of the Year. We always look around for someone who is being either innovative community-wise or with manufacturing or creating something unique. We honored Come Alive Outside, specifically Arwen Turner and their group there, for their work in getting people outside, getting kids outside, recognizing that a healthy lifestyle is something that's special here. And they do a lot of activities that support all of us. So those were our award winners last year.
So was I correct at the beginning when I said I think this is the first time that we've had the annual meeting of CEDRR outside of the kind of immediate area? I know it's been at the Paramount. I think it was at the Holiday Inn.
Yep.
When it was still the Holiday Inn.
Well, and during COVID, we were actually outside. It was a drive-up.
That's right.
There were 2 years where we did a drive-up annual meeting, which was pretty interesting, to say the least. Yeah. But you can do just about anything with a movie, so we enjoyed doing that, despite the times that were pretty tough.
The Killington Resort obviously had some great news this past week with the World Cup coming back. I think it's going to be on an every other year basis, but that's great. And I'll tell you what, that building, that K1 Lodge, completely redone, and it is just amazing. And I know that people are going to enjoy being there and enjoying, getting together and figuring out, obviously, from a lot of people's points of view, the passage of the TIF was also probably one of the bigger stories of the year, so people will be able to kind of mix and chat about that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there.
Well, and K1, as people, if you have not been there, it is beautiful. What is unique right now about Killington Resort is that it's under local ownership. Yep. So it is owned by a group here that live in and work in Vermont. What makes that extra special is that over the next 10 years, they've all dedicated any revenue will go right back into the resort itself. They there's local decision making, and so the owners recognize that the Killington team is professional, have been in place for a long time. They don't need to be micromanaged; they just need to be told go. And so they are putting a lot of money into the resort. This coming year, they're looking at $22 million more of investment. Some of that might or might not have happened under the previous ownership. But decision-making and things that are happening right now are happening quickly, and it's great for folks that are local skiers and folks that are coming in. And if you were at the annual meeting, it's so interesting to listen to Mike Salamano. He talks about what he knows, which is, remember that stone or that rock ledge way up at the top? Well, we're shearing that off, and the crowd goes wild. Yeah. They know he knows the resort. And they know he knows what they are most interested in. And they're a data-driven organization. They know where people are at different points around the mountain all day long so that they can try to eliminate long lift lines. Mm-hmm. And so they're doing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, two things you mentioned that to me make so much sense when you look at the fiscal end of things. The first part is, and this isn't always true, but the more local you can make decisions, and sometimes you can't make them 100%. There has to be a little bit of a pyramid on top. But the more local you can make it, the better off you are, I think, because those decisions reflect, boots on the ground type activity. And then the second thing is, and this is something that's hard to do, when you start making a little bit of money, you just want to put that in your left pocket and not worry about anything else. But the key, if you don't keep reinvesting it, you wind up with an old facility that's just not working anymore. So I think those are two great points that you made, Lyle, and I'm looking forward to it. That's, again, if you want to come up, there is no admission to come. The annual CEDRR meeting is this coming Tuesday at the K1 Lodge up at Killington, and it starts at 5, but you probably better be there about 4:30 if you want to, really get a full
definitely
kind of experience, if you will. So what else can we tell them about what's going to happen that night?
You want to talk about the pitch competition?
Pitch competition.
Yeah.
Well, we do have the pitch competition that's going to take place right after just a little bit of conversation and giving away some awards. And if you were at the Paramount Theater last year, you know that our Startup Rutland Business Incubator produces businesses that are very interested in leveraging the Vermont economy. And so we have 5 different startup businesses that will be pitching for an East Rise check of $5,000, and somebody's going to walk away with some money. I think they're all going to walk away with potential investors. And so we have 5 different businesses going through the program that Mose Casaro is overseeing. And one of those businesses is called Spire. And Spire is an AI-driven leadership training program. And it is intended to be used not primarily in the beginning by the military and ROTC programs, but also for any leadership programs for folks that are looking to get leadership training for their administration. It's a very interesting process where information is circled back to the person that is trying to learn these leadership skills. And it's a new, unique way to use AI-driven information. They are called Spire. Another one is Tuktu, and it's Tuktu, and they also are an AI-generated automated program. But what they do is they help folks connect with support in their homes when they need medical support or when they need companionship. So this is great for folks that are in need of someone to help with housekeeping or daily chores or medication dispensing. Perfect for some of us who are aging that may need some support. There are other businesses around the nation that do a similar thing. This one is very personalized, focuses on the family. It's affordable, safe, and it is all automated, so you can actually request the particular person that you want online. The third company is Aiden Legal Education, and it is an educational organization that will help people get their attorneys' licenses and be able to take their tests and be very successful. Much of the work in the legal community is certainly face-to-face, but much of the training does not need to be. And so that is what Aiden Legal Education is going to be focusing on. Burlington Bio, a female-founded and backed company, is a food producer of creative proteins that can be put into drinks and foods. It is a health-based product, and they are rolling that out at our event. And then finally, the fifth is Teleray, and Teleray has a local founder, and Teleray is an organization that can bring your doctor into your room in the hospital, and the doctor can be just about anywhere. And so they do all sorts of automation so that things can work quickly for the patient. and that you can get all the quality care you need from a variety of medical professionals around the nation and around the world at your fingertips, right on your TV screen, in your room, in a hospital. So, whole bunch of things going on. We'll see who walks away with the cash.
Yeah, those are the 5 pitches that you'll hear if you're at the meeting. And then you get a little vote. There are guidelines for being able to receive that money, correct?
So the guideline for this evening is that it'll be whoever in the audience feels they are the best and have primarily could be most successful.
Okay.
So we're going to ask you to log in with your cell phone, and you're going to be able to vote. And the top vote getter will walk away with a check from East Rise Credit Union for $5,000.
Sounds like a lot of fun that night. So again, this coming Tuesday, K1 Lodge up at Killington, 5 to 7 is the meeting, and it's free. You don't have to pay anything to come up, and you'll meet some great people for sure. I've managed to connect with a whole bunch of people that I probably otherwise wouldn't meet, and in my line of work, that's valuable and appreciated. So I'm looking forward to Tuesday night for sure. We're talking, by the way, with Lyle Jepson and Chrispin White from the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland region, and we have a few other events that we want to talk about. Let's jump to the next one, and then we'll take our first break. Okay. Coming up on November 11th, which, of course, is Veterans Day, the 11th month, the 11th day, and the 11th hour is the way I always remember it, when both of my parents were World War II veterans. And so we're going to be honoring vets and showcasing the Hub CoWorks, right?
That's correct. And the Hub CoWorks, it's a dynamic co-working space that's dedicated, and it has workspaces, it has remote desks, office spaces, conference rooms. We have a state-of-the-art podcast studio, which people aren't aware of. And it's just one of those areas that's designed to foster collaboration, connection, and creativity in a co-working space. And we're going to utilize this mixer as a way to get people through the doors again. The last celebration we had of this space was when we opened it back in November 2022. So we want people to come in, look at the space, really give us some ideas and feedback on what they would like to see in the space. But it is on Veterans Day, so we definitely want to honor the veterans on that day and just, again, showcase what we have to offer to the community. And we have a lot of great things that are going on. We have a nice Hub CoWorks committee that are working on ways to kind of re-envision what the space looks like. And I know Lyle wanted to talk about some of those renovations that are coming down the pike, as well as some of the activities and lunch and learn sessions that we're going to be offering.
Okay.
Well, and interestingly enough, we built a large, in collaboration with MKF Properties, built a large co-working area, and their offices as well. And we thought, boy, right now with remote work, the co-working area is going to be a magnet. But what we found out was the office areas are a magnet. And so what we're looking at with some minor renovations is taking what used to be where you worked in the radio station.
Oh, yeah.
And we're in the Opera House.
Yep.
And MKF Properties is going to slowly begin to build out some office spaces that have a lot of glass. You can see what's going on. It's going to be beautiful. And so we'll encourage folks to take a look at the first couple of those that will be available on November 11th when you walk through, just to see what the future holds for the Hub CoWorks. We're getting a lot of people through the door. We've had at the Hub CoWorks more than 3,000 people come through in the last year for a variety of things. Like last Friday, we had a meeting there that you were at, Brian, and we were talking about Act 250 and the 3-acre rule and some other things. It ranges all the way from that to other activities that primarily are business-oriented. Speaking of that, Matt Britt is our new community growth manager for the Hub CoWorks. Comes to us from Heritage Family Credit Union, where he has a lot of background in what works for the community. And he is organizing, as Chrispin just described, lunch and learns for the community that will include topics like credit scores, common scams and fraud, estate planning, home equity loans and lines of credit. What's the difference and how does it work for you? Strategies for growing a small business, and even caring for an aging parent and living wills. There's lots of different topics out there that people may need more information on, and we'd love to be that place in a lunch and learn format where you can come and take advantage of that, the information. We're teaming up with local financial organizations who will be the experts. We are certainly not the experts in those things, but there are experts out there at M&T Bank or Heritage Family Credit Union or East Rise Credit Union that will be coming in and will be talking about those topics.
So again, that's a couple of weeks away. Mixers generally start at 5, right?
Yep.
Is that going to be true here? And you're going to the the co-works of the hub this time. From 5 to 7-ish?
5 to 7, November 11th. That's a Tuesday. We'd love to have you come, honoring our veterans and showing people around the reopened, new and improved Hub Co-works.
Yeah. Well, I know we had a lot of fun here at Catamount Radio when we had our studios and offices there. I can't imagine that there's any better place all those years to work. It just it was a beautiful, beautiful building. Still is. They just remodeled it. And years ago, where we were was, I believe, where people sat, and then the stage was where we all looked up. So it's had, and of course, then it was the Economy Department Store, for those of you that were around the Rutland area. I came when it was still open in 72, but it wasn't long before it closed, and it's obviously gone through a bunch of things. There was a travel agency in there, Killington Travel, for a while, and of course the radio stations too, and I'm sure there was a bunch of other stuff, but it's a beautiful, beautiful building. So come to the Mixer, the Chamber Mixer, on November 11th. That's a Tuesday, from 5 to 7 at the Hub Co-works. I don't know why I twisted that, but it's right on Merchants Row, and easy to find, and you'll have some fun if you attend one of the Mixers, I can guarantee. All right, we're going to take our first break here on Catamount Community Connection. And again, we're talking today with Chrispin White and Lyle Jepson from the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland region. And we are coming right back. Welcome back to Catamount Community Connection, our weekly public affairs program here across all 5 Catamount stations. I'm Brian Collamore. Thank you for joining us. And we're very pleased this week to have Chrispin White, who is in charge of events and membership, among other things, at CEDRR, and also Lyle Jepson, who is the executive director of CEDRR. And again, can't imagine at this point you don't know what CEDRR is, but it's the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland region, thus CEDRR. And we talked a lot about the annual meeting. I'll just remind you again, it's this coming Tuesday at 5 o'clock at the K1 Base Lodge at Killington. It's free. You can come up and interact with a whole bunch of people, and it goes until 7. And then we talked about the Mixer on the 11th, November 11th, right at the Hub Co-works on Merchants Row, and that will be a salute to our veterans, and also kind of you can get a guided tour all night long about what it is that the Co-works does and how expansive it's become, and even looking ahead to some more office space there with Mark Foley and his gang. And so let's move to the December Mixer. I don't know where it is or anything else, but I bet you Crispin's going to tell us.
Yeah, well, we like to end the year off with a bang, so the December Mixer will be on Tuesday, December 9th at Heritage Family Credit Union. Always a very, very popular mixer, and this year will be the same. It's going to be catered by the Rolling Rooster and Cluckin' Cafe for the first time, so people really enjoy them. And the staff at Heritage Family, they're creating some fun interactive activities for the attendees. So looking forward to see what they have planned for us. But for this mixer, they usually use this opportunity to highlight some donations that they make with the Heritage Community Foundation. So we're hoping they'll do that the same. And then for our 50-50 drawing, we will be donating that to the WSYB Christmas Fund, as we've done over the last couple of years.
Yeah, as president of that group, I thank you very much. We are already receiving requests for help, even though we're still technically in October when we record this. Christmas is only it's not a couple of weeks, but it's a few weeks away. So we are receiving requests for help this year already. And these are the kinds of events that really make us feel great about each other and about living here and being able to reach out to our neighbors and help them at this very special time of year. So thank you to CEDRR and to the Heritage Family Credit Union for their donation for the Christmas Fund again this year. And that's a mixer I will be at. In fact, I better put that on my list here.
That would be December 9th. Yeah, December 9th,
Okay.
Tuesday on Allen Street.
Yeah.
And it's Crispin said, it's always a very, and I hate to kind of highlight it because then I take it away from all the other people like Alan Pools and stuff that host. But that one is especially special. People really look forward to it. It's probably one of the better attended ones all year, and I always look forward to it. All right, so that's the mixer. Then we have some fun after that. February coming up before you know it, and the real Family Feud.
Yep, and we kick off the year with that's really our first big event of 2026, and it's the Real Rutland Feud, and it's modeled after the Family Feud that everyone knows and loves. And it's a great opportunity for 10 local businesses throughout Rutland County to come together to really enjoy themselves and have some fun and vie for the Real Rutland Feud trophy. Usually we have over 500 attendees there, and the event highlights local businesses, their community impact, and pride in Rutland County, and that's what we want to try to highlight as well. And all while raising awareness and supporting our region and the Real Rutland Regional Marketing Initiative. And it's, again, a great opportunity to get businesses up on stage, for the attendees to see them in a different light. You know, we always talk about, a couple of years ago, we had the fire department against the police department. and just seeing them up there, joking around, having fun. It just shows what pride we do have in our city and our county. And we're looking forward to another exciting event in February. This will be our 8th year offering this. So very excited to see how it turns out.
Now, if you are an owner or proprietor or work at a particular area of business, how do they sign up to be one of the teams?
Well, we're in process of, we have a committee for the feud, and we're in the process of recruiting teams right now. If there is a business that is interested, again, this is a fundraiser for our regional marketing initiative. So the teams donate $1,500 towards the regional marketing initiative. And again, they get so much promotion and engagement with the community for that donation. And it really is an opportunity for businesses to increase the awareness of what they do, the impact they have on the community, and again, to engage with the community in a different way.
Okay. And the event is February what?
February 21st. So that's a Saturday, and the event begins at 7 p.m. at the Paramount Theater. Eric Millette, the Paramount Theater director, is the host, and he does an incredible job. He really gets the crowd into it, and some of the questions and the antics he has, it's just really amazing to watch.
Yeah. I happened to see him a couple of weeks ago now at the Pittsford Volunteer Fire Department's haunted house.
Yes.
He was, I don't know, it was, you're loading wagons and taking people down. I didn't see who he was with, but I'm sure whoever it was, I don't think he came alone, probably got a good scare that night and had some fun. So it's always good to see Eric Millette, also a member of the board of directors of the Christmas Fund here at the radio station.
Excellent.
So he does a lot of stuff for the community. They're in the middle of a huge expansion,
Yes.
and every now and then on Facebook I'll see a picture of, drywall being put up again and another room, and I'm not sure. That's going to sort of dovetail, I think, into the hotel. Maybe we'll be talking about that later. But I think it's the Richardson building that is now owned by the Paramount Group, and it really is going to expand the ability of that entity to continue to entertain people. Lots more room in the lobby. All that kind of stuff. So congratulations to Eric Millette and everybody at the Paramount. And they will be the hosts on the 21st of February for the Real Rutland Feud.
Yes.
And again, as Chrispin said, if you're an area business and you're interested, get a hold of the folks at CEDRR, and maybe you'll be one of the 10 teams to compete that night. That's kind of fun.
Definitely.
One thing that Chrispin alluded to was that our committee structure, and he talked about the feud having a committee. So we have a group that comes together every year. They've been doing this for a long time, and they really enjoy their time creating this event. And so if there are folks out there interested in doing committee work, we have all sorts of committees. So I could go all the way back to our conversation on the November 11th mixer that's coming up at the Hub Co-works, and we have a committee that's organizing that. And we're talking about food and entertainment. There's going to be someone singing. There's going to be great food. As part of the renovations that you're going to see, and they're not huge renovations, but Robert Black, who is an architect and artist, has an office at the Hub Co-works, and he said, hey, how would we like to do this and make this look different? And we could help the acoustics in this area. It's exciting to have people coming in and using their talents within our committee structure that we have. And we have some folks who are on that committee led by Kyle Mendelson, we have a small committee for the Hub Co-works, and they're planning lots of activities and fun things. And also want to, again, remind folks that the November 11th mixer is in support and honoring our veterans. I don't know if we have the VFW. I think we've reached out to them at this point to have them come and join us. Proceeds will go to the VFW that evening.
Oh, that's great.
And so committee structure, if you want to be on a committee, we have committees for you. We have an events committee that helps figure out what the mixers are going to be like. We have our regional marketing initiative committee that works on attracting people to come to Vermont and specifically to the Rutland region. It's a lot of fun.
Always looking for more. So if you are interested, would they get a hold of Chrispin or you? Or
they could get a hold of Chrispin, and they might find out, yeah, I'd love to be on the events committee because at the November 11th mixer, there's going to be a scavenger hunt.
Exactly.
And so what's the scavenger hunt about? We have beautiful artwork in the Hub Co-works. Fran Bull, local artist, has all sorts of art around the facility, and then there are others that have come in and put up their art as well. So there's going to be a scavenger hunt with a prize at the end, of course, and so you'll get to wander around the Hub Co-works looking for particular items.
Okay.
And one thing we're adding to that mixer, knowing that we want to encourage as many community residents as possible, we have partnered with Jessica at Clover Exploration to offer childcare and children's activities that evening up in the Hub Co-works as well. So if there's a family out there who say, well, we usually don't attend the mixers because our children are this and that, we have an opportunity that evening where they can bring the kids and they will be taken care of royally. So we're hoping that families and their children will attend that mixer as well.
I think the three of us were at the grand opening, the ribbon cutting event.
Correct.
So it's one of those where you can literally walk. You don't have to worry about getting back in the car and then driving somewhere else to get the kids. You just walk, get the kids, and then get to the car and head home or wherever you're headed.
Yeah, but we're actually going to have her stationed right in the
inside.
Hub Co-works.
Okay.
Yes, we have an area for her that she's going to set up actually a week ahead of time just to make sure. And we're going to send out some marketing on that as well because she wants families to see that it will be kid friendly and an opportunity for them to really come and have some fun.
Hopefully she's doing well. It was a great idea.
Yes.
And, any new business is always very welcome. And
she's got the coolest bubble machine in the county.
I remember that.
The kids love it.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, so that takes care of another of some of the other events coming up. December Mixer on December 9th at Heritage Family Credit Union. And then the Real Rutland Feud on the 21st of February at the Paramount. And let's talk a little bit before because I see on my notes here that we're going to talk about the TIF vote as well. The Real Rutland Regional Marketing Initiative Visitor Program. That's a mouthful.
That is. It is. As you've mentioned a couple of times, one of my duties at CEDRR is membership. And we often try to come up with ideas to where we can provide support and value to our members. And we think we do that very well overall. But one thing we've started to do based on some funding we received from the state through their GROW program, which is the Think Vermont Grants for Relocation Outreach Work, is we are taking some of that funding and we're giving that to our our CEDRR members. We're working with our members to purchase gift certificates, a number of gift certificates from our members in order to provide to people who are visiting the area or who have relocated and moved to the area. And this is just a way for us to give back to our members and to provide some funding that will hopefully spur the economy and that will provide opportunities for these people visiting to areas to really connect with our members and in whatever way they see fit. So what we've done is we've broken this program up into two categories. And the first one is the visitor program, where the partners, we partner with the local hotels to give us a list of visitors who are looking for things to do. And they send them to our office, and we give them an opportunity to pick and choose from a variety of different gift certificates from our members. And they choose the gift card, and it encourages them to get in and go to some of the restaurants and some of the shops in the area. And again, it enhances that awareness of our local CEDRR members. It promotes hidden gems around Rutland County, because this is not just a Rutland City program. This is for our members all through Rutland County. So if some visitors are coming to the area and they're not aware of some of these shops and restaurants, this gives them an opportunity to explore. And then again, for our members, it just increases their visibility. So it adds that value that we always try to provide for our members. So
of course, they have to meet us too. So when
yes,
they come in, they're going to get the song and dance about why you want to live here. So
exactly.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. Not at all. But it really, again, it does give us that opportunity to meet people coming to the area, share information with them, and give them an opportunity to get that understanding of why we feel this is a great place to live, work, and play.
Is there a particular season where we see more people visiting than others? I mean, if you just look at the whole year, maybe the feeling would be in the winter, because of the ski situation, you would tend to see a whole bunch of people, but maybe they don't like necessarily stop in Rutland City or around. They go right up the mountain. Then again, there's now, because Killington is a four-season resort, there's no way around that. Bike stuff in the summer, the lakes. Fall obviously has a lot of attraction because of the foliage. We were a little bit, I don't want to say muted, but it wasn't quite as brilliant as it might have been in other years. And I think the rain or lack thereof had more to do with that than anything else. So I don't know if you guys see the numbers coming in. Is there a season where we see more people maybe than others?
It's almost easier to say when we don't see them.
Okay, all right.
And that would be kind of those shoulder times. So I would say April, May is a little bit light.
Okay.
And then you might find the same thing in November.
Right.
But other than that, we have the beauty of our region. And there's either snow or there's the lakes or there are things to do. If you looked at what was happening downtown just in Rutland City over the summer, there was an activity or something going on almost every weekend, from Pride Fest to the Friday Night Lives to the Whoopie Pie Festival to other things that are going on. Organizations are really gathering people together, and there's a lot happening in our county. Just looking, if you were to just go out and wanted to listen to music in the summertime, you can find a place almost every single night on a green in some town that has music going on. And they must be working together, because it's never the same night. Right. And so it is amazing that you can find so many things to do. So I don't want people out there to ever say there's nothing to do around here. There is a lot to do around here. But there are those couple months where it's a little bit lighter. But primarily through the year, it's a pretty busy place.
So I'll turn that coin on the other side. For those of you that are listening that might have relatives, friends, whoever coming up, during those, so April, May, and maybe November, the tendency would be for restaurants to be less crowded and for, it might be a little bit easier to navigate around. So you might think about, the off-season kind of thing. I know it's always, fun to be where everybody else is at the same time. But there are also times when it's nice to just be able to move around quickly and not worry about crowds.
So true. So true.
I always try to get a positive
Perfect
if I could. Make any negative connotations here. All right, we're going to take our second break, I think, and then when we come back, we do have the TIF vote to talk about and the major economic situation that's going to create, and the planning that's gone into that, and the success that we all hope we will see when it comes to fruition. And again, we're talking with Lyle Jepson and Chrispin White from the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland region. We will take our second break here on Catamount Community Connection, and we're coming right back. Welcome back to Catamount Community Connection. I'm Brian Collamore, and happy that you've joined us this week. And we're talking with Chrispin White and Lyle Jepson from CEDRR, the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland region, and have given you a ton of information. We don't expect you to certainly remember all of it, but in order, we'd like to have as many people attend the annual meeting this coming Tuesday up at the K1 Lodge in Killington at 5 o'clock. It's free, and I guarantee you'll have a good time if you come up to that. And then we talked a little bit about a November mixer on the 11th, where we want to honor our veterans. And then on December on the 9th, the mixer for at the Heritage Family Credit Union, the Real Family Feud, a Rutland Feud, I should say, on the 21st of February at the Paramount. And now I want to turn the focus and spotlight on to something that just happened shortly ago, and that was the TIF vote. I did have a chance to speak last week with Rutland City Mayor Mike Dunches, and he made the point, or maybe I did, one of us did, that it is very rare in a off-year election kind of thing to have anything reach 85% approval in terms of the vote. I think we all would have preferred to have, 70% voter turnout. That's very rare. We didn't get that. It was less than that. But I can't remember another item, that's up for a special vote where you got 85% of the people agreeing to it. Just the fact that the local, I call them city council, but the Rutland Board of Aldermen, was all unanimous in their approval. The legislative delegation unanimously approved it. The administration at City Hall approved. Everybody was in favor of it. We did sort of spend some time, to be fair, at least recognizing that there were 15% of the people that felt differently. But I think we kind of answered some of the concerns they might have had. I still think in the back of people's minds that they're afraid that their taxes are going to go up here somehow. And anyway, I know it was a big, and kudos to you, Lyle, and the chamber. So we'll include Chrispin as well, for getting the word out. That's really what you did. You marshaled the forces that would be likely to try to convince people, and it was great.
Well, we just need to make sure people knew that the vote was happening and knew why the vote was happening. It was brand new information for a lot of people. The TIF is a new tool that's being used in our region, or relatively new. Killington voted their TIF in a couple of years ago. You can have 2 TIFs, tax increment financing districts, per county, and now Rutland is that second. It makes absolute sense for Rutland City to have a TIF district, and it is going to spur economic development. And some of the things you're going to see first, I think people think, well, it was just about getting the hotel. It was about getting infrastructure. And so you are going to see water and wastewater lines being replaced and made larger. You're going to see a streetscape design that is very inviting for the Rutland City. These are things that needed to happen anyway. What the TIF tool allowed was a way to finance it so that it was not on the backs of the property owners. This is an opportunity that not every community gets. We're very fortunate that Rutland City has that opportunity right now. And this is a 10-year window. There can be other projects that take place that will follow a similar format. So we hope that in the coming years, not only will there be a hotel, but that there will be other projects that take place that we have hoped for years and years would take place. Now there's a mechanism. Now there's a tool that will help that happen.
And I gave lots of kudos to the Belden family and their company, because if they hadn't stepped up to the plate not to use a sports analogy all the time, much of this would just not have happened. They spent their own money, or will have spent it by the time this is a done deal, to first of all dig up the soil that was contaminated, truck it away, send it off to wherever it goes in the Midwest somewhere. I guess they can somehow use it again if they clean it. I'm not sure what that process is like. I'm not sure I want to know what that process is like, but at some point they can reuse the dirt, and then they will pour a cement cap on, I don't know how far down they got to go till they're sure. Those are the decisions that engineers make, not me. But they'll be, in essence, that'll be the ground floor of the new hotel. But again, much of the focus was on the hotel. So let's put that aside for a second, as Lyle mentioned. But I don't want to put it aside without recognizing Kent Belden and his family and their company, because they really, I don't want to say they gambled, they invested in our community to a great degree. And I think and hope that they will be rewarded greatly for doing that. So that will all kind of take place, I think, later this fall, from what the mayor said last week. I'm not sure what the dates are or anything. If you're going to start digging in the dirt, you probably want to hope you do that before the frost settles in. So at some point, there are going to be shovels out there digging it up, and then the cement cap on top of that. And if that can get done this fall, great. And then so it won't be till next spring that you begin to see maybe a little bit more obvious work being done on Center Street, and then I think Wales, and I think it'll be in that order. Center Street will be first, and then Wales. The mayor did mention last week, and I haven't heard anything in the interim about how far they'll do it in staging kind of things. I don't know that that's been decided yet.
Yeah, that hasn't been decided, but it will shortly, certainly. And to go back to your comment about the Belden Company, the TIF would not have been possible without a development agreement with a developer. You need to go to the VEPC board when you're working to get a tax increment financing district with a developer in hand, someone who is willing to sign a development agreement saying, if you give us this tool, we will do this. The Beldens did that. And you're quite accurate when you say there's a lot of money that they're putting in on their own. And if I were them, I would certainly want some of the supports that they've asked for, that they are getting because of the amount of money they're putting into this. Businesses need to know when the money's going to come back the other direction. And it's going to be a while before that hotel generates enough revenue so it's coming back to the Beldens. So they are taking... primarily, they're taking the risk, and they will build the hotel. They're dedicated to doing that, and we will get the infrastructure that will help other businesses. What you are going to see, I think, Brian, is that the newsroom, and we're all talking about the affectionately named pit where the hotel will be, but you'll see the newsroom, which kind of sticks into the pit. That's going to come down, and that's going to come down shortly. So one of the things you're going to see first is the newsroom coming down. Where the new Cornerstone Housing Authority is, that will continue to be there. They'll continue to have their offices there. That will not go away. That's going to stay right there. But following the newsroom coming down, that'll take a couple weeks to do. Then you're going to see 6 to 8, maybe 10 weeks of dirt leaving the pit. And that dirt is going off. My understanding is it goes off to the Midwest, gets burned, or something happens to it. And then the chemicals that are in it are taken care of, and we will no longer have those chemicals here. At no fault of anyone's, all the chemicals are in the soil. And so the Beldens didn't put it there, and it was years and years ago that the contaminants were there. But now, given the new regulations, you need to clean it up before you can build. That's what's happening, and that'll happen soon. You're correct about when you'll see construction taking place. The hotel piece won't begin until probably early or midsummer, and then you'll see some pretty rapid growth of the hotel and construction there. If the world is perfect, we will have some kind of grand opening in the spring of 2028. That seems like a long ways away, but we're almost in 26, so it's not that far away. And it will be amazing to see the building going up.
And Mike Dunchus last week did mention that they've done, I think, a very good job. I don't know who they is, but there's a whole bunch of people working on this. But folks have been good about letting the area businesses know kind of step by step what they're going to be facing and ways that they can mitigate that in terms of losing their customer base. That's why I don't think in the end, and I'm not sure how it's going to go, that all of Center Street, maybe they'll do one side and then come back and do, I don't know, but there has to be a way for those businesses along both streets to continue to remain open and make it easy for their customers to come in and out.
Well, speaking of committees, yes, there is a committee for through the Downtown Partnership where businesses have an opportunity to be brought up to date very quickly on things that are going on. Stay tuned for that communications process. That'll be coming out, and I'm sure there will be meetings of the business community just to make sure they're well taken care of. Yeah.
I mean, this is a big project. It's the biggest one that I've been around for because I can remember when the building burned in 1973. I think it was 73.
I think so.
Yeah. In fact, I was across the street. Back in those days, we had one station that went off the air at midnight, and the other one stayed on. And so I was doing a report for the one that was still on the air, and it was an amazing night. I'll never forget how cold it was. It was a terrible night. But anyway, it's been there since that time. And so this is now 50 years later, and we're trying to get this fixed. So
and it will be.
Yeah, hopefully everything works out to the best. Yep. I know there'll be bumps along the road that maybe some people wouldn't have necessarily anticipated, but I've got to think with the amount of people that are looking at this that 2028 in the spring would not be out of the question. And it's going to definitely change downtown Rutland. 7 floors, I think, right? And some of it will be put aside for living space for area businesses to use, apartments, in other words. And then some will be the nightly rentals that you normally get at a hotel. I'm sure there'll be meeting rooms and all that kind of stuff in there somewhere. And then maybe to a lot of people's delight, a bar at the top of the roof with a huge view of, that's why we call it 360. You can see all over the place. And it's at that point that revenue would begin to be generated, both from the overnight stays and then the monthly rentals. So, yeah, hopefully 2028 will be a good time to be here.
And when you say revenue, that also, there's taxes along with that. So there's rooms and use taxes that are going to come back to the city. It's going to be a win-win. This is a true public-private partnership that will benefit the citizens of the region and will benefit a company that basically is giving back.
Okay, we have about 2 minutes left if we haven't covered everything that you guys want.
And this just in.
Okay.
January 26th, put it on your calendar if you would like to come to the legislative breakfast at Southside Steakhouse. That is Monday, January 26th. Our guest speaker will be Megan Sullivan, who is the Vice President of Legislative Affairs for the State Chamber. She will be coming to talk about business initiatives and the work that they are doing to support businesses in the state of Vermont. So we look forward to having folks come and join us again on January 26th, which is a Monday, at 7:30 a.m. for breakfast at Southside Steakhouse. We'll have sign-ups on our website. Stay tuned for that.
Okay. Do you want to quickly, Chrispin, go over the, maybe the 3 or 4 next events kind of thing? I know we'll talk about the annual meeting again.
Yeah, definitely. For the annual meeting, again, it's Tuesday, October 28th, and from 5 until 7 p.m. And just want everyone to know that it is free and open to the public. And you can register at rutlandvermont.com, or you can just show up. We'd love to have you. And then Tuesday, November 11th is our mixer at the Hub Co-works, and we'd love to see as many people there as possible. And again, we will be honoring our veterans as it is Veterans Day. December 9th, which is also a Tuesday, our December mixer is at Heritage Family Credit Union. Always a wonderful opportunity to close out the year in style. And then on Saturday, February 21st at 7 p.m. is our Real Rutland Feud at the Paramount Theater. And very excited to bring that event back for the 8th year.
Eric Millett will be the hosting.
Yes, he will.
And he does a great job. Mm-hmm. And again, thank you to the folks who make the decision about the 50-50 for the December mixer.
Yes.
It'll be going to the WSYB Christmas Fund, as it has for the last several years, for sure.
Yeah, correct.
Well, we've come to another show at the end here. Lyle Jepson and Chrispin White from CEDRR, the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland region. Thank you both for taking time out to join us, and we will have you back before you know it.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Good. Alrighty.
Okay. We'll see all of you next week here on Catamount Community Connection.